Back and solo the inbounder. Fuller with it! Russo in space. Service in. Oh, and he scores! Line drive off the glove of Zamora. Parker comes home and so will love it. Georgia Southern walks it off. Eagle Nation, welcome back to another edition of the GATA Zone, your one-stop shop for a deeper look inside Georgia Southern athletics. I'm your host, Danny Will of GATA Productions, and this edition we're talking spring volleyball with head coach Chad Willis as Georgia Southern Volleyball getting ready to take on their spring 2026 campaign. Coach, welcome back to the GATA Zone. Glad you're with us.
Thanks, Danny. Always a pleasure to be here.
Back in the fall, you completed your 7th season as the head coach. 2025 season was a bit of a success, going 19-9, 10-6 in the league. But now that you're back out preparing, getting ready for the spring portion of the schedule, what's the excitement level to get back out there and compete?
Yeah, I think it's all about who you surround yourself with, right? So we're very fortunate that we've got a great group coming back off a solid fall. I tell everybody, anytime you can win, it's incredibly hard to do that at this level, at any level. So to do it 19 times, our 5th consecutive winning season as a program says a lot about our trajectory and what we continue to build. But I think this group coming back, they've got a little bit of a bitter taste in their mouth. We were 10-6 in league play. 1-4 in 5-set matches in league play. So you're looking at 4 or 5-set losses as the difference between being 14-2 and probably a regular season champion versus 10-6. And so, it's been really, really good fuel, really good motivation for this group that we have coming back. And the excitement level is high. Energy is really good. They're working really hard this spring and looking forward to getting to the competition phase of what we got moving forward.
A lot of success from some of the players in last year, going 19-9, 10-6 in the league. Reagan Barth, now a senior outside hitter, was named first team All Sun Belt Conference. Setter Kirsten Barrett was also first team All Sun Belt. She recently graduated. You also had a lot of success in your younger players. Freshman Alex Myers, middle blocker, was named to the Sun Belt second team. And Maddie Cagino, a sophomore libero, now in her 3rd season. It was her first year with Georgia Southern last year, and she was named to the Sun Belt Conference 3rd team.
Yeah, no, I think, certainly a fall season that, really proud of the individual accomplishments that our program was able to receive. And, clearly all of that flows through, Reagan Barth, who is our stud, who is our go-to. She's been such a key contributor in every facet of our game, whether it be attacking, blocking, defending, serving. And so getting her back for her senior campaign. And then, you pair her along some youngsters like Maddie Cagino, who stepped into the libero role and did a great job for us in the fall. And Alex Myers as a true freshman coming in and some of the value she added in the middle for us. And then, a lot of the returners that we have coming back, return our starting L2 and Sam Bauron. We turn, our starting libero DS and Maite Camacho. We've got 2 new setters that we're putting into the fold. We've added some transfer pieces and some other freshmen as well. But you also got, Lydia Seymour and Kayla Knowles, who've done a great job in playing some role-playing minutes for us in the middle. So a lot of excitement on this roster, moving into year 8 as a staff and as a program. And they've got big goals in front of them, and they've been getting after it.
Now, last season was a year of first because Hanner Fieldhouse was the exclusive home for Georgia Southern Volleyball last year, with men's and women's basketball moving to the Hill, the Jack and Ruth Van Hill Convocation Center. So what was that like for you as a team to officially have Hanner exclusive to Georgia Southern Volleyball and to just have a great atmosphere and crowd in each match?
Yeah, credit to Eagle Nation. They continue to show out for us, and I think we put an exciting product on the floor. I think we pumped almost 9,000 people through Hanner last fall, and the excitement and the buzz around Georgia Southern Volleyball right now is probably as high as it's ever been. So anytime that we can say, hey, this is our facility, a locker room upgrade, office upgrade, and the fact that, our team can walk out there any day and get on the court and get some reps on the ball, and then just the game day experience in terms of coming in and seeing the graphics and knowing that it's a dedicated volleyball facility says a lot to just the support and our administration and our fans and Eagle Nation for how they continue to support us.
Last question before we go to break. While it was a successful season, it kind of had an abrupt ending. Of course, you want to compete for postseason play, and the NIVC has been that for this team the last 2 years. Although this past 2025 season, it was announced that the NIVC tournament was going to be canceled that year, an abrupt ending to the season. It's going to come back in 2026, but what was just that like for you and the team to kind of assess after the Sun Belt Conference tournament? You're probably getting ready to compete for the NIVC, and then having that news be announced just soon after.
Sure, I think it's hard. It's a tough pill to swallow, especially in the moment when you're having that team meeting at the end of the Sun Belt Conference tournament going, all right, let's get back. We're going to have a little bit of a break, but then it's back to practice because we're going to be playing in the NIVC. And then, to find out that you don't have that opportunity, first thing you think of is, you're heartbroken for your seniors. because that's it. They don't have another opportunity to put on that blue and white, and so for them, you feel a lot of heartbreak there. For our returning group, I hope it was more of a little bit just of an indicator of, listen, don't take it for granted. These postseason opportunities, the opportunity that you have to come in, to be in the locker room, to put on the jersey, to get on that bus, to have that away trip. Those things that happen, it may seem like a long time, 4 years, but it goes by really fast. And so I think what you've seen from this group that's come back this spring is they're taking every day as another opportunity just to continue to elevate themselves and get better and push. And, the goal is the Sun Belt Championship. The goal is the NCAA tournament. And, we feel like we're putting together a really nice schedule in 26 to put ourselves in that position. But yeah, you've got to learn from it. And so I think I'm excited for the more postseason opportunities we can provide for our sport. I think it's great for women's volleyball, and so excited to see the NIVC come back. But we also know NCAA tournament, that's what we're aiming for this season and this year, and we've got a group that's ready to get after it.
Well, as one chapter closes in 2025, we now open the next chapter in 2026. We'll talk about the new team and the spring schedule when we come back after the GATA Zone.
Trim for everybody, now available at Parker's Kitchen. For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining built Ford tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
As children, we wanted to build something amazing. Maybe a huge tower for heroes. Our imagination soared. At Georgia Southern University, that spirit stays alive in our students. We chase our curiosities. We think big and achieve more than we ever dreamed. Beyond goals, beyond limits. Georgia Southern University. Soar.
Welcome back to the GATA Zone. Danny Waugh alongside head volleyball coach Chad Willis. Coach, now you're in spring form, getting ready for the spring season here in 2026. And one unique thing, you're bringing back 14 returners, the most you've ever had come back, and you bring your entire fall roster, all 18 players here in the spring. What does that just mean for the connectivity and just to have everybody in one place to get ready?
Yeah, well, I think, Danny, it's huge, and I think now in this post-house settlement era where you're capped at 18 student athletes, on your roster, training and competing. For us to have an opportunity this spring to say, okay, here's our entire roster for the fall on campus, highlighted by bringing in, 2 quality additions out of the transfer portal, and then 2 of our freshmen coming in the 26 class who decided to graduate early and enroll. To have everybody here, the returning 14 who clearly have already, they understand our system, they know who we are, they know what we're about, and then to bring along some of those newbies and give them, those 6 to 8 months of being on campus, being in class, being with the team, even though it's not your typical season, so to speak. They still get to go through that daily grind. I think it says a lot just to the commitment level of our administration to put us in that position to enable us to do that, but also our student athletes, because that's been a constant theme for us throughout the spring is, we have everybody here. Let's not waste that opportunity. So every single day come in and let's treat every single day like we're prepping, for a fall and a Sun Belt, opponent on a weekend and then leading into the Sun Belt Conference tournament. And so it's unique. This is the first time in my career in 20 plus years of doing this that I've ever experienced something like this. It's kind of weird, going to be honest with you, to walk into a spring practice in the morning and to see 18 of them smiling right back at you. But certainly something that we're really proud of and trying to take advantage of as much as we can.
Well, let's dive deeper into the 4 newcomers on this team. Yep. The 2 freshmen, outside hitter Delaney Wingenbach and setter Bella Eckler. I mean, you have such a unique list of outsides along with Reagan Barth. I mean, Sam Bauer on the right side, even some of the freshmen from last year, and Anna Powell, and also Gabby Babinski, and then Bella Eckler working alongside Lexi Duffy, another setter on this team. And then the two transfers, and Becca Pfefferkorn, sophomore transfer from Florida International, and junior middle blocker Grace Thomas, who makes her way from Central Michigan. I mean, you bring a unique mix of players that can add on to the already deep roster that you have. How have you seen them work their way along with the returning players here in the spring?
Yeah, I think, anytime you talk about recruiting and who you're trying to add to the mix, priority number one for us as a staff and as a team, find quality humans. And we feel like we've hit the jackpot with all four of these additions coming into this program. And then number two is they got to be able to ball. They got to be able to play a little bit. And so you look at Delaney Wingenbach, who's come in as a freshman and has really sort of stabilized from a depth side of things, our left side position group, and doing some really nice things. Bella Eckler coming in as a setter. We graduate probably one of the best setters to come out of this program, and Kirsten Barrett. And, Lexi Duffy, we're fortunate that she took a redshirt year and has been in our system now for 3 years. So she gets it. She understands it. And she's ready to come in and take the reins there. And Bella comes in and stabilizes that position group as well. The one spot where we feel like we absolutely needed to get better coming into the season was our opposite position. We feel like we didn't manufacture enough points, whether it be offensively or defensively, out of that spot in 2025, and we sort of piecemealed a little bit. Maggie Sale did a fine job, coming as a left side back to the middle, or going into the middle and then now going to the opposite. Yeah. But we wanted to find a little bit more depth there, so that's why we went and got Becca Pfefferkorn from FIU and Grace Thomas, who was a middle at Central Michigan, but we're transitioning to the right. And both kids, you're talking about Grace Thomas, who was, all MAC freshman team in 2024, and Becca Pfefferkorn, who was coming off an all freshman campaign in Conference USA. So both have come in and added tremendous value to that position, has really solidified us offensively in terms of what we're trying to do as a team heading in the fall. And I don't want to give away too many secrets. You have to come out for the blue-white game if you really want to see. But no, I think overall, just in terms of the additions, they've really done a nice job coming in and really just provided some great depth to our returning group. And they compete well, they go after it hard, and I'm excited to see how they continue to develop.
Well, you mentioned the blue-white game. That's a great segue into the spring campaign, because that's going to be first up this Friday, actually, 5:30 p.m. inside of Hanner Fieldhouse. Also a benefit of having all 18 players. You have an even number, 9-on-9, in that scrimmage coming up on Friday. And then looking out through the rest of April, I mean, you got 3 games in Atlanta, Mississippi State, Tennessee, and Auburn facing some SEC powerhouses. And then you come back home to Hanner Fieldhouse April 11th against College of Charleston in North Florida. Then you round things out on the 18th against West Georgia, D2 Anderson College, and Presbyterian. I mean, a lot of different teams you're going to face, but having that depth, you're going to find out who you have pretty early.
Yeah, no, I think, Danny, one of the things we really wanted to do this spring is we wanted to challenge this group that we have, and having the entire fall roster here this spring. Like normally in a spring when maybe you have some lower numbers, or you don't feel like you have all the role players that you're going to need that would normally come in a freshman class or a transfer class. You maybe kind of lower the schedule down a little bit just in terms of number of contests, where this spring, a couple things. One, when you have 18, you can scrimmage every day. So being able to watch this group go after it and compete against each other every single day has been really great to see. And then two, we're going to take advantage of our play dates. We get 4. We're going to use 3 of those 4, like you said, to go over to Atlanta, Georgia Tech, and play 3 quality SEC opponents there. And then come back and just, finish out the spring season in Hanner, and hopefully give Eagle Nation a good opportunity to come and meet this team and see this squad and kind of put eyes on them and see what you can look forward to heading into the fall.
The final question for you, Coach. I mean, we've seen the impact and the growth of what this Georgia Southern volleyball team's been able to do so far. What do you want Eagle Nation to know? I mean, we've seen the growth of volleyball, especially with last year being the first year in Hanner exclusive to volleyball. What do you want to see to have that continue, and what do you want Eagle Nation to know about this team as you get ready to compete here this spring?
Yeah, I just think, the support means an awful lot. I think there's a direct correlation between butts in the seats and winning. And when you talk about the opportunity that we have to play in Hanner Fieldhouse and what we've been able to do the last couple of years inside that facility, we're going to have 14 opportunities next year for Eagle Nation to come out and see us play at home. And I think the home record the last few years speaks for itself, just in terms of that energy that Eagle Nation has provided us. But what you can expect to see from this group, I think we're going to play a very up-tempo style. We've made it a priority this spring to focus a lot on our tempo, just offensively, and what we're trying to do. You're going to see a balanced offense. We can score from a lot of different places with this group. And everything, clearly all the eyes are on Reagan in terms of what she's doing as our three-time first-team All Sun Belt performer. But we've got a lot of different ways that we can come at you, and that should also open some things up for her as well, which we're really excited about. But it's also a team that's going to have a great level of resilience, and they're going to play with a grit that I think Eagle Nation is really gonna love. They're gonna kind of resonates with them, right? Just in terms of who we are and how we go about doing things, and just getting after balls defensively, and the way we compete, especially in the small points, or in between the trenches is what I call them, the transition game. All in all, just an exciting product. Continue to get better. I say this every year, but that's a testament to Efren and Lexi and our recruiting and what we're doing. Like, this is the best team we've ever had, and so we need Eagle Nation to get out and full support behind us, and we'll be able to do some pretty extraordinary things come fall 2026.
Well, fans, if you're in the area, the blue-white game is this Friday, 5:30 p.m. inside of Henner Fieldhouse. Then the Eagles kick off April, going to Atlanta, facing 3 SEC teams, and back home on the 11th and the 18th here in the spring. Coach, thank you for
Thanks,
for joining us. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely. Hail Southern, GATA.
When we come back after the break, our own Skye Taylor will be catching up with senior outside Reagan Barth. So keep it locked here on the GATA Zone.
We wanted to build something amazing. Maybe a huge tower for heroes. Our imagination soared. At Georgia Southern University, that spirit stays alive in our students. We chase our curiosities. We think big and achieve more than we ever dreamed. Beyond goals, beyond limits. Georgia Southern University. Soar beyond.
Trim for everybody. Now available at Parker's Kitchen.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining built Ford tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
Welcome back to the GATA Zone. I'm Skye Taylor, and I'm here with women's volleyball Reagan Barth. Reagan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Skye. I'm happy to be here.
Thanks. So as you're gearing up for your senior season, what are some of the expectations and goals that you have set for yourself and for this team?
Yeah, I think like Chad said earlier, it kind of left a bitter taste in our mouth after last season ending so abruptly, and I'm super excited to come back and kind of prove everyone who we are and that we can do everything that we've accomplished or been wanting to accomplish over the past 3 years. I'm super excited as it's my last year. Like, all of our best friends are coming back, and we have the chance to prove ourselves again.
So you rank 5th in all-time kills chart here at Georgia Southern, 1,159 kills in just 3 seasons. What does it mean to you to have been a part of this program for all 3 years?
It's super special. I think it's kind of it's difficult to see that these days. A lot of the transfer process and transfer portal is kind of messing that rhythm up with a lot of people, and so I'm really blessed to still be here and still have the opportunity to come back. I'm super excited that my teammates allow me to have the space and to have the room to grow every single day at practice and every single game. They've trusted me with so many different things, and I'm super blessed for that.
So you're one of the senior leaders on this team this season alongside Lydia Seymour and Kayla Knowles. What has it been like with you 3 working with all the newcomers?
Yeah, it's super special. I think kind of what Chad said earlier again, having our entire fall roster here is really special. I think we're trying to really dive into them and help them become leaders, and I think in return that's helping us become better leaders ourselves.
So speaking of senior leaders, you've been around a lot of strong senior leaders during your time here in this program. What have you kind of learned from them and taken from them that you're wanting to implement into your senior leadership role this year?
Yeah, I think holding ourselves to a very high standard as well as the rest of the team, that's always something that we've been kind of ingrained in by Chad and the staff, but I think past senior classes have really demonstrated that by example. You can't hold someone else to a standard if you're not holding yourself to a standard, so I think that's super special.
Absolutely. And last question for you. As you've been able to go through spring training, you got the blue-white game Friday. What excites you most about the future of this team?
I think everything. My favorite part about this sport is not just the volleyball piece, but doing it with my best friends. And Lexi, Kayla, and Lydia, my fellow seniors, I include Lexi in that. All my best friends, I think we're just super excited to have another shot at getting a ring. And that starts, day one in spring. And so I think every single day we're working and competing for that. So we're super excited.
Well, Reagan, thank you so much. Best of luck to you this
Thank you
season.
for having me.
And a special thank you to women's volleyball head coach Chad Willis and our host Danny Waugh. I'm Skye Taylor. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the GATA Zone. We'll see you next time.